Hello, welcome to my channel. Thank you for joining me. I have a short one today. I just randomly had the question to myself. Also, this topic is completely random, but I hope you enjoy it and I hope it leads to you doing some research on your own about Cartoon Network because their history is pretty interesting. And the reason why I want to talk about this is because I was just thinking literally like last night. I was like, what happened to Cartoon Network? It's probably because I'm just like thinking like what happened to everything? What happened to the good old days? What happened to, good Pixar? And this may have been inspired by, even though it's completely different, it's like Pixar animation. I saw a trailer for the new Toy Story movie, and maybe that's why I was thinking this randomly. Toy Story 5 is coming out, if you don't know, and I knew that Shrek, like a new Shrek movie, I don't know, what is it, 4 or 5 as well, probably. Um, and I resonate a little bit more with Shrek. I feel like we all do, but Toy Story 5 just seemed very random because people that actually watched Toy Story 5 that were kids, they don't know, they're not interested in watching a Toy Story 5, and the people, the audience, the children that it's tailored for, they didn't see Toy Story 4 or Toy Story 3 and definitely didn't see the first Toy Story. So it doesn't really make sense to me. Anyway, that's a completely random tangent. I just want to talk about what happened to Cartoon Network. What happened to the good old days of Cartoon Network? It's probably because I'm just thinking about nostalgic things, trying to go back in time and not live in today's times. I just want to talk really quickly about Cartoon Network's history and kind of where we are now. I won't be talking much about where we are now because it's a little bit bleak. So I'll just talk about the good old days, the good old times. So I learned this today. I learned today that Cartoon Network launched in October 1st of 1992, and it actually first launched running exclusively reruns of Warner Bros. Animations. And then later on, it kind of started running some of their popular original TV series, including Dexter's Laboratory, Johnny Bravo. That's a good one. The Powerpuff Girls, Courage the Cowardly Dog, and Ed, Edd n Eddy. Those are just a few of the like golden era. And a little bit of backstory to kind of the start of the idea of Cartoon Network. Cartoon Network was started by Ted Turner, who owned Turner Broadcasting System. And they launched that Ted Turner Broadcasting System launched CNN as a 24-hour news coverage channel, and they actually started I guess like that whole 24-hour cycle, and they hope to do the same with Cartoon Network being a 24-hour comedy, being a 24-hour animation Cartoon Network series that will run 24/7. And this concept proved to be successful. By the end of 1994, Cartoon Network had become the fifth most popular cable channel in the United States. Okay. I wonder what today's most popular cable channels are. Leave a like if you're still paying for cable. No one's paying for cable, let's be honest. No one's doing that anymore. And honestly, maybe people are streaming less because even now streaming is getting ridiculous. I mean, you don't have to have like all the streaming channels. Honestly, I try to just have one. Personally, I have Hulu, and that's like my one streaming thing, and I just watch anything that's on there. I don't want to do the whole thing where I have like, oh, I need HBO Max, I need Netflix. I haven't had Netflix in a long time. Honestly, I feel like Netflix, yeah, it's like overwhelming, and I just don't even want to deal with that. Like the whole extreme personalization and showing you things so you can like binge watch everything, and then once you're done with the series or a movie, they'll immediately show you something, and then it's just too much. There's too much, honestly, and I don't even care to ever have Netflix. And then yeah, so I just stick with the one, and I would recommend that. It's nice to just have like the one that you're paying for, and then you're like, yeah. And then that whole thing where tangent, that whole, I saw like the Rocket Money commercials, that one person that's like, oh, I'm paying for like 3 different DoorDashes or something like that, or like I'm paying for 3 different subscription services I had no idea about. who is like paying for stuff they don't realize? I want to know what kind of demographic does that? Like, how did they even come up with that concept? That's not a real life.
Wasted money on.
I was paying for 2 subscriptions over like 3 years.
That's like, how'd you figure that out?
I saw an app that shows you all the monthly subscriptions you have and how much you're paying. So I have a phobia of making calls, so absolutely I did not do that.
Also, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I have a phobia of calling. No one says that. And also, if she has a phobia of calling, why is she doing this interview? That doesn't even make sense. Okay, bye. No one's like, I have 3 subscriptions to DoorDash and I didn't even know. First of all, how can you even do that? Second of all, how can you forget that you're paying for like, oh, $15 coming out every month? I didn't even know. I just can't. I don't understand that life. Like maybe once or twice, like if you have, those free trials, and then of course they'll like charge you when you forget or whatever, but like continuously every month you don't know what's being taken out. I don't get that. That's not really, I don't know who lives life like that, but anyway, I digress. The animation studio Hanna-Barbera, which is a man, sadly, it's 2 men, which is kind of deceiving because 2 of those names are traditionally woman names, but no, of course, they're 2 men, and they own an animation studio. Anyway, also they were really old at the time. He actually like died 2 years later after like Cartoon Network was started, or like one of the partners died. Anyway, the animation studio Hanna-Barbera Productions was originally purchased in 1991 before launching Cartoon Network a year later. And also in 1991, there was a new division founded called Cartoon Network Studios that started the production of What a Cartoon. And this offered original animated shorts from various independent animators hoping to promote creativity in animation with full animator control and high budgets to allow just general freedom for animations. They really wanted to start these original series on Cartoon Network, and they gave artists free range to start a lot of these new series. And this is kind of like why a lot of these golden era shows were made and were able to be made, because they didn't have a strict control over what was going to be shown or what topics or anything. And a lot of these shorts became the first of Cartoon Network full series, so they translated these shorts that they would show into full-on spin-off series. Some of these shorts that became full-time series include Dexter's Laboratory, which became the first spin-off of What a Cartoon in 1996, followed by Johnny Bravo in 1997, and then the Powerpuff Girls in 1998. Moving a little bit down the line into the 2000s, early to mid 2000s, do you remember Total Drama Island? Because I remember Total Drama Island, and it was it was quite a show. Total Drama Island, the original series, not the one with the children, that doesn't make any sense at all, because the original premise is that they're meeting on the island for the first time. It's a competition, reality TV show, or like a mock of reality TV show, cartoon, whatever, and they're meeting for the first time. That's literally the whole point, is like their personalities are clashing because they've never met each other. How did they make a version now? They made a remake where they're children. They literally don't know each other. That's the whole point, so it doesn't even make sense. Anyway, Total Drama Island actually originally premiered in Canada in 2007, and premiered on Cartoon Network a year later in June 2008. And then later on, 2 years later, the first episode of Adventure Time. The first episode of Adventure Time started on Cartoon Network and concluded with 10 full seasons in 2018, with talks of a remake. This show was also very wildly successful, especially starting out, it was very wildly successful, and also ended with its own spin-off series. A year after Adventure Time, in 2011, The Amazing World of Gumball aired on May 2nd, with 6 complete seasons ending in 2019, and also getting its own spin-off show. And then maybe the best of the best, regular show premiered in 2010, ending in 2017, and getting a new series this year. I don't know when, but they're expected to get a remake, or they're expected to get a new spin-off series at sometime this year in 2026. So yeah. A little bit later down the line, Teen Titans Go aired, having a total of 9 seasons. This is probably the time where I clocked out. I probably watched a little bit of Teen Titans Go. Maybe the first season wasn't that bad, but definitely just kind of got very low quality. I don't know, it was just weird. And also I think they changed a few of the voice actors over the seasons. But yeah, I definitely just clocked out after that. And so today, where are we today, and what happened to Cartoon Network? On August 8th in 2024, Cartoon Network shut down its website after 26 years of operation, and this was due to some strategic changes implemented by Warner Bros. Discovery, its new owner. So what happened to Cartoon Network? The same thing that keeps happening over and over: corporate agendas, aka money, money, money over everything. And in this case, it was the Warner Bros. Corporation over creativity and protecting the prosperity of artistic animation. The thing that's different in this case is that there's always been a strict budget and timeline with all shows and series. Of course, there's always going to be a budget in place, and there's always going to be some sort of regulation and standards that are placed that you can't cross. But what's different is the multitude of corporate giants behind this. With a lot of the strategic operations behind Cartoon Network being fully in control by Warner Bros., this cuts off a lot of the artistic creativity and just general freedom that Cartoon Network is able to have. Previously in 2003, it was announced that the Cartoon Network Burbank building would close its doors in August, all operations being transferred to Warner Bros. Animation.
Okay, so my camera died, but I really hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.